Now there's not much that I love about the Star Wars sequel trilogy, but the first shot of Rey scavenging inside the remains of an Imperial-class Star Destroyer definitely made me believe that we were in for something good with the new films. Unfortunately we weren't, but these scenes are still the main inspiration for the diorama that I'm making for this month's Mini Marvels and the Winnest painting competition. And this month it is a sci-fi theme. People can make both minis and full-size dioramas. The rules are pretty loose. And I won't be participating with my own diorama since I am judging this one, but I still wanted to make one. I made my very first diorama a few months ago for also a Mini Marvels competition in the theme Gnomes. It was a lot of fun. It was my first diorama. The video can be checked out right here. But more on the competition, its entries and the winners a little bit later. First, let's build a diorama. I'd imagine that the scraps of these Imperial crash sites would have attracted the interest of groups of Jawas. So much so that one particular group made it their home and shop. Just like Rey made her home in a fallen AT-AT. When doing some more research on what Jawa trading outposts could look like, I came across some videos of Jawa traders in Star Wars Outlaws. Apparently this is one of the side quests in the game, although I haven't played it. I took some inspiration from these shots, especially the fabric in this one. They made me decide to use some kind of tarps or fabrics in the diorama, and that would bite me in the ass. A little bit more on that later. So with the picture drawn in my head, it was time to start scavenging. We all have these boxes, drawers, or baskets of shit in our homes. Shit that you didn't throw away when you probably should have. But shit that is very handy when making dioramas or scratch builds. I returned to the shed with all kinds of shit. And that is what I really like so much about scratch building. My shit drawer set the stage for what could be a thriving Jawa trading merchant group. I've done too little scratch building in my years in the miniature hobby, and I'm definitely looking at doing regular builds in 2025. Look at me scavenging like a true Jawa. People like Miscast and especially Bill making stuff inspired me to dive into my shit drawer and look for interesting parts that could become something one day. Let me know in the comments below if you'd be interested in that kind of content as well. To make the cylinder look less like a noodles container, I super glued the old earbud wires to the inside and outside of the engine, and then continued with this kitchen knife sheet. The wires made for some interesting textures on an otherwise flat surface. I decided to glue another panel on the container. Adding details like this will make the skill a bit more believable. This is the packaging for the super glue I'm using. Nice aerodynamic shapes that in the right context start looking like fans a little bit. One of the products that I wanted to try out for the build was AK Interactive's Desert Sand. I had made my own mixes of sand before, but I wanted to see if this would give me any advantages. One thing that is convenient is that this stuff is pretty much an all-in-one solution. It works great, it dries pretty quickly, but I did need some additional highlighting in the end to make it a bit less flat of a color. I primed everything black before giving the panels a highlight of grey, which is the same thing I did to my AT-ST for Star Wars Legion, so I figured it would look like it once belonged to the Empire. And afterwards I started working on the tarp. Now the tarp is made from bandage I had laying around, and I struggled with this stuff a lot. It should harden out, and I first tried Geek Gaming sealant for this, before making my own mix of PVA and water, and even used a drop of super glue here and there. It was pretty messy. While soaking the tarp in streaking grime, I laid out the positions for the Jawas. There's two bringing in new goods, two on their knees looking through parts, We have the Jawa merchant himself, a buyer, and a bodyguard. Now, with different kinds of paints fusing into different kinds of glues, I decided to call it a day and let the Frankenstein dry up. The next day I painted up the Jawas on my live stream. It was quite easy, 3 different shades of brown and yellow eyes. Not much to it. The last day was spent on some additional scraps soaked in AK's rust streaks and fill in some of the metallic parts. I also decided to fill this old keycap up with a small little droid I had laying around and some additional wires and tiny little bits that I had left over. The piece needed some additional weathering, so I decided to use a sand color through the airbrush on the entire piece and then bringing back some of that metallic with some stippling with a old dry brush. Now, before revealing the end product, let's give a massive shout out to everybody who participated in the Mini Marvels / The Winners sci-fi painting competition. It was a lot of fun and it was hard to judge as well. And I've been working with Mini Marvels for nearly a year now, and there's some exciting plans for 2025 as well. There's actually a cool live stream coming up, probably in the weekend of the 11th of January, where I'm going to visit his shop. We're going to talk about the shop. We're going to work on the new diorama because there's a new competition going on. And this time it is a D&D themed one, which I really like a lot. So look forward to some announcement on that live stream. Like I said, it's probably the 11th of January, somewhere around that time. And here's the winners that me and Mini Marvels decided on. Congratulations to both of you. We couldn't choose. Now, like mentioned, the next competition, the Dungeons & Dragons competition, is already in motion. If you want to participate, maybe join my Discord, links in the description below, and I'll give you all the information that you need. Now let's see the Frankenstein that I made. While it could have used a couple more hours, I'm pretty happy with the overall concept. I photographed it with a Tatooine backdrop from YouTube to really blend it into its setting. And if you want to see a tutorial on how I do these photographs, I did a tutorial on that a couple of months ago. It was one of my first videos. You can check it out right here. And well, that was about it. Another diorama build. I was not really happy with this one. I could have worked on it a little bit more, but it was quite busy. I hope you enjoyed the video anyways. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, maybe leave me a comment, and I will see you guys later.